Long time no see. Have you been doing well? My estranged mom and my husband had come to my dad's funeral. You've got some nerve showing up here after what you've done. She didn't react at all to my sarcastic comment. Well, it's my husband's funeral. Of course, I'm going to attend. I came here for the inheritance. I couldn't stop laughing at what my mom had said. I'm afraid there's no inheritance for you, though. My name is Kate, a 32-year-old office worker. I have been married to my husband Jacob for 2 years. We were both in charge of the same client at work, and every time we met, we grew closer, which eventually led to us dating. One day, he confessed his feelings to me, and we officially started going out. At first, I was hesitant to date him because he was 6 years younger than me. Are you sure you want an old lady like me as your girlfriend? When I asked him that, he looked straight into my eyes and said, I don't care about age. I love you, Kate. I was touched by his straightforwardness and fell for him. Our relationship progressed smoothly from there, and he proposed to me. We immediately went to meet his parents. They were very kind and accepted me with open arms. They were cheerful and positive, just like him, and I immediately liked them. Next, we visited my family home, and I introduced him to my parents. Oh, he's such a young boy, but he's very polite and pleasant, isn't he? My parents liked him right away. Jacob also said, your parents are very kind. They're great. He was very positive about my parents, and so we got married without any issues. After getting married, we both continued working while sharing house chores. Kate, your cooking is really delicious. Really? That makes me happy. Did your mother teach you this? No, I learned it myself. My mom isn't much of a cook. I guess she was particular about things like salads and oil, though. Oh, really? So she's a health guru, huh? Well, she used to be a model. What? Really? Did I not mention that? When she was in high school until she was about 19, she was a teen model. When she was 19, she got pregnant and married my dad. She quit modeling for a while, but after I started elementary school, she worked as a model for about 10 years. Whoa, I didn't know that. I thought she was very beautiful, but it makes sense if she was a model. Tell her yourself next time. I'm sure she'll be thrilled. All right, let's go to your parents' house next time. Sounds good. Let's go on our next day off. My husband always made an effort to visit my parents, which I appreciated a lot. Thanks to him, I could see my parents regularly. In that way, my marriage was going very well. However, something terrible happened. My dad was in an accident and has been in a wheelchair since then. Kate, can you come again today? I have a caregiver during the day, but it's tough taking care of him all on my own at night. I see. Okay, I'll drop by after work. I was very worried about my dad, and to be honest, I was concerned about leaving my mom, who isn't very good at housework, to take care of him on her own. I told my husband that I would go to my parents' house after work to help take care of Dad. To my surprise, he offered to pick me up and accompany me to my parents' house. Thank you, Jacob. You're a lifesaver. Don't mention it. Your parents are in trouble, so we have to help. At that moment, I thought that my husband was an angel sent from God. I'm glad you're here, and thank you so much for coming, Jacob. I'm sorry to make it a hassle for you. No problem at all. Please don't worry about it. Where's Dad? He's sleeping in his room right now, but I think he'll want to use the bathroom soon. All right, I'll go check on him. Thank you. Is there anything I can help you with? Oh, there are some heavy things I'd like you to carry. Ever since my husband started to use his wheelchair, there's no one here to carry any heavy things, you see. Oh, I see. That makes sense. Of course, leave it to me. My husband seemed happy to take on my mother's request. I was glad he came along. Dad, you're awake? Thanks for coming, Kate. I heard your voices and woke up. I see. Do you need to use the restroom? I can help you get there. Oh, I think I'll take you up on that. I'm truly sorry for the trouble. What are you talking about? I was able to go to college because of you. It's time for me to repay that kindness, you know. Thank you, Kate. After finishing taking care of Dad, my husband and I returned home together. When we got home, my husband made a certain proposal. Hey, what do you think about us moving in with your parents? What? I mean, to be honest, it must be hard for your mom and dad to live on their own in their current situation. Yeah, but are you okay with that? They aren't your parents, you know. Won't you feel stressed? Not at all. Your parents are really kind, so I have no problem living with them. Jacob. I was really grateful for my husband's proposal. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. My mom and dad have a 15-year age gap. My dad was a company CEO. and he met my mom at a party where wealthy people gathered. He fell in love with my beautiful mom at first sight, and that's how they started our family. They got married when my mom became pregnant. Since mom is not good at housework, her mother, my grandmother, often came to our house to cook and clean. I remember seeing my grandmother cooking when I was a child. My mom had a unique value that as long as she was beautiful, she didn't have to do anything else, so she really didn't do any housework. I started living on my own when I went to university, so I learned to do housework and cook and can do most things on my own. But mom couldn't do anything, so she couldn't take care of my dad on her own. That's why, if possible, moving in with them seemed like the best solution. I wanted to be by my dad's side and support him. There's another reason why I want us to live together. What? What is it? Actually, I'm pregnant. Wait, really? Yeah. Seriously, I'm going to be a dad? That's right. In that case, it's even more reasonable to live at your parents' house. I guess you're right. I'll contact my mom right away. When I told my mom, she said that would be a great help and agreed to let us move in. So my husband and I moved into my parents' house and began living together there. I decided to become a full-time housewife while caring for my dad at home and preparing for the birth of our baby. If anything happened, my mom would take me to the hospital. Even though she couldn't cook, she would buy whatever I needed from the supermarket. That alone was a huge help, and it was a relief to live at home where I wouldn't be alone. My husband communicated well with my parents. He had conversations with my dad, showing concern for his health, and he enjoyed talking with my mom. Seeing this, I thought I had made the right decision in marrying him. Jacob, can you accompany me to the store? There seemed to be cheaper ingredients at a supermarket a bit further away today, so I was thinking we could take the car. Of course, leave it to me. My husband and mom got along like real parents and children, often going shopping together on weekends. As my tummy grew with the baby, it became quite hard for me to go out, so I was very grateful that they took the initiative to do the shopping. Time passed, and I gave birth to our baby smoothly. It was a healthy baby boy. All of our family members were delighted and congratulated us on the birth of our son. Since we have a boy, he might be able to take over my dad's company in the future. I was looking forward to a lively and even more enjoyable life with my family. That was what I thought, but I was about to encounter an unbelievable situation. It happened on a day when I was planning to take my son shopping. I wanted to buy some baby items, but the store I had in mind was far from home, so I decided to drive there. Instead of telling my husband what I wanted and risking him getting the wrong items, I figured it would be quicker if I bought them myself. I asked my husband to look after my dad and decided to go shopping. However, after about 10 minutes of driving, I realized I had forgotten my wallet. I quickly turned the car around and drove back home. As I was about to go upstairs to my room to get my wallet, I heard a strange noise coming from my mom's room. Currently, my dad, who's in a wheelchair, has a room on the first floor of my parents' house, while the rooms of my husband, my mom, and I are all on the second floor. My husband and mom were not in the living room on the first floor. At this point, I had a terrible feeling. I quietly approached my mom's room. Then, I heard a creaking noise and heavy breathing, and I knew exactly what was going on. I began recording on my phone and opened the door. "What are you both doing?" "Whoa!" "Ah!" The surprised voices of my mom and my husband echoed in the room, both of them naked. In other words, they were in the middle of making love to each other. They quickly started to dress themselves. "What is this? This is an affair, isn't it?" When I confronted them, they were unapologetic. "Yes, it is, but well, it can't be helped. Jacob said he prefers me after all." "Sorry, Kate, your mother is much more attractive, you know." "Excuse me." Apparently, my husband prefers older women. When we were dating, he didn't mind the age difference at all, and the greater the age difference, the more he found it appealing. "Do you think you'll be forgiven for this?" "Oh well, it can't be helped. Whether we're forgiven or not doesn't matter to us." "Yeah, we're going to move out and live together." "So you're saying we're getting divorced?" "Yes, of course." "Then I'll prepare the divorce papers right away." I remained surprisingly calm as I proceeded with the conversation. I guess it was because I knew I had to stay strong for my dad, who needed care, and my newborn son. "So, Mom, you're getting divorced from Dad, right? I'll bring the divorce papers for you too." When I said that, my mom made a shocking statement. "I'm not getting a divorce." "What? You're not divorcing Dad, but you're leaving this house?" "Oh wait, just hold on. There's a limit to playing around like this." "I'm not joking. I'm not leaving until I get my fair share of this house's assets. Yep, that's right. Until your dad passes away. What are you saying? You're not leaving until you get his inheritance. Surprisingly, my mom refused to divorce in order to receive my dad's inheritance. Indeed, if they proceeded with a divorce, she wouldn't receive her secured portion of the inheritance. How disgusting are you? I said, glaring at my mom with clenched fists. I'm just choosing the option that benefits me more, regardless of whether it's an old man. I'll take all the money I can get, and then I'll be with a young and wonderful boy. I was beyond angry. I was simply appalled. Jacob, I'm divorcing you no matter what. Yeah, sure, but depending on the circumstances, I might refuse to do it. What? What conditions? That you or your dad accept your mom's wish to not divorce your dad. Huh? Since it's you, Kate, you might take some measures, right? So since you and I are getting a divorce, I want you to keep the promise that your mom and dad remain married. You've got to be kidding. There's no way I can accept those terms. Then I won't divorce either, and I won't pay child support. You can't do that. Well, what will you choose? My husband and mom looked triumphant. Anyway, I have to tell my dad about this. I can't decide this without considering his feelings. Saying that, I ran down to the first floor. It seemed my dad was awake and had heard the conversation. Dad, you don't need to worry about me. Divorce him right away. No, but then you and Mom. You need to worry about me. That's why you should divorce that man right away, my dad said, looking straight into my eyes. He probably has some kind of plan. With that in mind, I decided to do as my dad said and accepted the terms my husband proposed for the divorce. My husband and my mother laughed loudly and said, "Let us know when Dad dies, okay?" And then the two of them left. I was so angry. I felt like I was going insane, but the one who was truly suffering was my dad. I'm sorry, Dad. Jacob did something unforgivable. Don't worry about it. They'll probably see Hal soon enough. I didn't understand what my dad was thinking, but after he explained it to me, I understood immediately. If we did this, we could definitely give my mom and Jacob a taste of hell. After that, I decided to live my life without worrying about those two. During the day, I hired a helper and started working again. My son grew up healthy and I got better at taking care of my dad. My dad seemed happy to spend time with his grandchild. I hoped my son would grow up to be like my dad. As I lived like this, 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. A little while ago, my dad's health deteriorated, and he had to be hospitalized. Unfortunately, his health didn't recover, and he passed away. I had been prepared for this, so was calmer than I had anticipated. I immediately began arranging for the funeral. My dad was loved by many people, so a lot of people attended his funeral. However, among the attendees, I ran into the people I least wanted to see. Long time no see. How have you been? I came as promised. It was none other than my mom and my ex-husband. What are you doing here? I came to keep my promise. My mom and ex-husband had shown up at my dad's funeral. How could you show your faces here after everything you've done? Kate, most men and women are attracted to each other by instinct, so it can't be helped. Reason doesn't apply to those who are attracted to each other. She didn't seem to care about any of my sarcastic comments. Then why are you at my dad's funeral? You could have spent your time alone with him. Well, it's my husband's funeral after all. It's only natural to attend, right? And as I said earlier, I need to fulfill my promise. I came to claim my inheritance. Now, tell me how much I'm getting. I couldn't help but laugh at my mom's statement. I'm sorry, but you're not getting any inheritance. What? What are you talking about? She should be entitled to a portion of the estate. I'm sorry, but my mom and dad have already divorced. What? I didn't agree to a divorce? Have you forgotten that you once handed a divorce paper to my dad? He kept it for a time like this. After you two left, my dad submitted the divorce paper. You're no longer with my dad, which means you're not eligible for his inheritance. As I said this, the color drained from my mom and my ex-husband's faces. No, you're lying. That's impossible. Now that you understand, could you please leave? You understand the situation, right? Many people who respected my dad began to gather around us. They all despised the two who had betrayed and hurt my dad. Realizing the situation, my mom and my ex-husband left the funeral at once. According to reports, they were living a luxurious lifestyle that didn't match my ex-husband's income, and it seems they even used up all the money my mom had saved. They had started taking out loans, and it was at this breaking point that they learned of my dad's death. They intended to use the inheritance to repay their debts, but their plans failed, and they received nothing. Now, no one knows their whereabouts. For me, it doesn't really matter since it's none of my business. On the other hand, I started working at my dad's company a few years ago and had taken over as the CEO before my dad passed away. Now, I'm protecting my dad's company as a CEO while raising my beloved son. I would like my son to take over the company someday, but if he finds something else he wants to do, I plan to fully support his dreams. Right now, I want to watch my small and adorable son grow up. Narrator's comment: cheating with your wife's mother, that's the lowest of the low, right? Even if one prefers older partners, that's unforgivable. Kate's mother is also the worst kind of woman. Perhaps the lowest of the low are attracted to each other, but in the end, it's satisfying to know that the two of them ended up drowning in debt. Kate should keep up the good work as the CEO and spend happy days with her son.